Hello and welcome back to the Punchers Chance podcast, and welcome to our review show where we look at the fights from last week and anything that happened during the week. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach Jr., all the other fights, Lewis Crocker, Paddy Donovan, as well as that Eubank Benn press conference. So let us know down below what you thought, first of all, about that 9th round Tank Davis knee. Let us know if you thought it should have been accounted or not. Let us know all that stuff and subscribe for 2 podcasts every week. Straight into the action, the good stuff. Tank Davis, I kind of had it billed as it could be one of the biggest upsets of the year if Lamont Roach pulled it off, and he almost did. And do we think he should have done?
Yeah, definitely. He should have. Well, I think personally he should have had the win, because if they counted the knockdown, which I think they should have, then he wins on a split decision. But I just don't understand how it hasn't been given. Like, yeah. I can understand he wasn't hurt, but like he lands a punch and then he decides to take a knee, stop the round. The referee sends Roach to the neutral corner.
And starts counting as well. He's at 4.
Yeah.
And then stops.
And then he's like, what are you doing? Like, you're in charge of the fight. Like, you make the decision.
Yeah. If you think if the roles were reversed, do you think that point gets taken?
Yes. 100%.
You think
anywhere else in the world, I think as well, it might get taken. You know, look at Daniel Dubois against Joe Joyce now. He took a knee in that fight. Referee started counting.
Yeah, but he took a knee because of a genuine injury. That's the argument. I'm not saying that
having grease in your eyes.
No. I'm not saying it is right by any means. I think what's happened is the refs panicked a little bit, thought what's actually going on here, and then forgot to take the point, and then he didn't want to go back. And what's mental though is they have a review system in place, and the review system looked at it and didn't deem it. It like. As far as my understanding is, don't get me wrong, I haven't read the entire rule book, but where it doesn't matter if you take a knee, it doesn't matter what for. It's a point. It counts as a knockdown, unless, like you've said, it's for like equipment failure. So your gloves or your shorts around your ankles or something, then you can stop the fight. But
it'd be hard to try and take a knee there.
Trying to take a knee and you just can't get down. But yeah, it's such a odd thing. As far as I understand it, no matter what your reasoning for it is, there's no justifiable reason to take a knee, and the ref will go, no, that's fair.
And like, I can understand it'd be very irritating to have something in your eye when you're trying to box someone, but like, I don't feel like you can just stop in the middle of the fight to sort yourself out. No, and it reflects that whole Amanda Serrano thing, doesn't it? When she dyed her hair and then got the hair dye in her eye and stuff, and just maybe don't get your hair done a couple of days before a fight, and if you do, then you deal with the consequences of your decisions. Like, at the end of the day,
does he deserve a rematch, Roach, or do you reckon Gervonta Davis is going to look at that and think, oh, actually?
And the thing is, as well, I don't think it wasn't a very good performance from Davis.
It was an off night, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that was because he's having those things or he's just distracted or whatnot, but I thought Lamont Roach Jr. was exactly what I expected from him, which was that he was going to pick up some rounds. You know, Tank Davis doesn't win fights by 12 rounds necessarily always, particularly at this high level. We saw it with Frank Martin. He lost rounds, and possibly some people had him losing at the point he got the stoppage. Yeah. But that stoppage comes, and if he's not worrying about the eyes or all of this kind of thing, you'd imagine that maybe that stoppage would have come. It only normally takes one shot, and then he wins that fight and there's no talk. But, you know, fair play to Lamont Roach Jr. He did what he had to do. Yeah,
he takes a long time to get started, don't he? Gervonta Davis. He warms into the fight, and then once it gets past like 6 rounds, then he starts putting it on you, and he didn't really do that, did he, in this fight? And you look at that, what was it, the round before, I think Roach landed quite a decent shot that put Gervonta Davis back a little bit, but yeah, that round 9 is very, very controversial, and like I said, if that was the other way round, if Roach took the knee, I think the referee starts counting and doesn't go, wait a minute, hang on, what are you doing?
It just makes me think now, like, in terms of the Tank Shakur Stevenson fight, like, I wouldn't be ruling Tank out, but like, Shakur Stevenson's probably going to pick up majority of the rounds just because of the type of fight that he is.
Yeah.
And if Tank can't land that big shot, he's not going to win the fight.
Yeah, you know, I don't think you're wrong, and I think if anyone could do that for 12 rounds and outbox Tank Davis for 12 rounds, it's going to be Shakur Stevenson, because he does it for 12 rounds against everyone and anyone. You know, if you put Frank Martin in with Shakur Stevenson, albeit Frank Martin's a very good fighter, I'd expect Shakur Stevenson to pick up almost every, if not every round in that fight. So he's going to do the same thing to Tank Davis. But there's always that big shot. There's always that one shot
that's what he carries, you know. Yeah.
It's made it more interesting again, I want to. It made you even more want to watch the two of them go against each other.
Yeah, it makes it a so much better fight.
Do we see it this year?
Maybe at the back end of the year. I do hope the WBA say you have to give the rematch. Yeah. He's your mandatory challenger for the rematch. Fight him or lose the title, because he deserves it. He should have won that fight. If you count that knockdown, 114 on the two scorecards go to a 115-114, and he wins by a split decision. And whether you think that was the right scoring or not, I think it was a close fight. It could go either way, but you'll imagine he'll lodge an appeal, which probably won't do anything because they never do. But he's got lucky. He's a lucky boy, is all you can really say, isn't it?
Do you know the mental thing as well? $80 to watch this card on Saturday night, it was.
Yeah.
I know that we're all looking like $80. Yeah, of course we paid for it.
I didn't pay that.
Last week, 20 quid. $20 as well in the US to watch Artur Beterbiev, Dimitri Bivol, and that entire card. And all right, Gervonta Davis is a superstar in America. You know, I think that was the second highest gross the Barclays Center has had in revenue. But surely you can't be charging people $80 to watch a pay-per-view fight.
No, you can't.
Surely not.
No, you can't be.
It's ridiculous.
And I just think, you know, that it's not going to be sustained. Well,
it is in a way, because people would still buy it, but there'll be people.
I think it's just the going rate, isn't it?
Yeah, but
for Americans,
it's mental to me. It's mental to me. You know, if I'd paid 80 quid for that, and then that's what I'd watched at the end, I just feel robbed, basically. But you know, that's I suppose we're treated somewhat to it in this country.
Got your money's worth though in the card, obviously.
Yeah, Yeah. Your favourite fighter.
The hype wasn't the reason in this fight, yeah.
Absolutely.
Maybe he was lucky that night.
Yeah, possibly. Elsewhere as well, it kind of, when you look at it, it looks even worse from a British boxing point of view. When you look at the Lewis Crocker Paddy Donovan that happened as well, how do we even begin to pick that apart? I mean, Paddy Donovan, first and foremost, to give him his credit, absolutely outboxed Crocker for almost all of the rounds. Looked so much better than I expected him to, and that I think the general consensus was that it was going to be a close fight, and it wasn't to that point. And then that disqualification after I think it was 2 points deductions for head and elbow. What do we make of that?
I do feel sorry for him, but at the same time, I think he just didn't keep his composure, did he? He had him exactly where he wanted him.
Yeah.
He's probably like if he had walked back to that corner, it was late. It was a very late shot. If he had not done that, gone back to that corner, come out for the ninth round, I think he stops him in that. If he got 3 minutes to work,
I don't even think Crocker would get out from that corner.
I wouldn't. I was going to say I wouldn't have even been surprised.
They probably wouldn't even have sent him. He was just swinging because he could not see anything. But it's difficult, Nick, because like especially seeing where he was like after the fight, he was so distraught, and that is his like world title opportunity gone. But like you've got to be smarter in those moments, and yeah, it's difficult. But I don't see a rematch happening until Crocker gets his world title shot.
Yeah, I think it would make sense to. I really don't think it would.
Where's the referee in all this though as well? When you're with 10 seconds remaining, he should be really close to them to jump in, because the way they were swinging, it wasn't going to be. They weren't going to stop at the sound of the bell, are they? You know, the referee's job is to step in and separate them as soon as that bell goes.
Even if the bell,
and he was nowhere to be seen.
Even if you ignore the fact that the bell was coming, if a fighter is laying into another fighter like that, you need to be on hand to be able to see if the fighter that's getting hit is in a state to defend themselves, or if you need to call the fight, or that if you do need to call the fight, you can actually step in and do that. So yeah, I think the ref, again, poor showing from him, and it's not the ref's fault. It is Paddy Donovan's fault, but the ref actually probably could have stopped it and made it, you know, the fight continue. And then, like you say, I think Crocker would have been stopped, which
it's such a high pressure moment as well. You think Donovan in that moment, he's thinking, I've got him exactly where I want him. If I stop him here, I'm getting my world title shot. And like the way he was laying into him, I think you'd have more than enough reason as a referee to stop the fight there and then. like before he gets to the end of the round.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been like a crazy early stoppage.
No.
I don't think there'd have been too many
Because
questions
Crocker
asked.
was throwing back, but he could not see what he was doing. He was just swinging to try and survive. So, yeah, it'd make for a brilliant rematch now, though.
Oh, it would,
The build-up between these two. The dream would be to have Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, and then these two on the undercard.
Oh,
Yeah, it would be good. But then it's not...
Park. Oh, imagine
the atmosphere for that.
Yeah, it would be unbelievable. I think... Do you know what I think Paddy Donovan's problem was? Is that there was that first shot he threw that kind of Crocker managed to duck under, which was kind of on the bell, and then he threw the right hook after that shot. And that is... You know, if you throw a shot on the bell, you can get away with it. But then to then throw another one straight afterwards... But
the argument there is protect yourself at all times when you're in a ring. So even though the bell's gone, yes, I agree there.
I'm not buying the fact that because Crocker didn't drop his hands. His hands were still up. Yeah. The fact that he maybe mentally wasn't ready for another shot to come, and that's what put him out. That's where the shots hurt, is when you're not expecting them. So he might not have been mentally braced for a shot, which is why it was kind of able to catch him around the back of the ear and put him down. But his hands were up. He didn't drop his hands entirely.
No, he was ready to go, wasn't he? But
I'm sure Crocker wouldn't have wanted the fight to end in this way as well. You know,
it doesn't. Like, it does no benefit for him either.
Not really,
like,
no.
He's going to go in, if he goes into a world title shot next, the question's going into like, should you really be in this position after what happened? But yeah, I'd like to see him rematch again, but I think in terms of Crocker and his team, it'd be silly to throw away a world title shot when you know you've got it now.
Yeah.
And you can sell it as, well, he got disqualified, it's his own fault.
Yeah, I do think the head clash points deduction was maybe a little bit harsh, because I think the problem with Crocker is his stance is so kind of forward facing with his head down that you're going to get head clashes in that situation. Pardon me. But I do think that the elbow one probably was fair. That was a pretty blatant elbow. He kind of tried to like shape up the shot with his kind of forearm, but he has just elbowed him in the face, which you can't do.
I think you have to give credit to Andy Lee as well. Like,
massively.
In terms of, like, he's got to be one of the best trainers out there at the moment.
In
terms of what he's doing with Donovan, what he's done with Joseph Parker, like, his fighters are doing really well.
He's got Billy Nelson's number at the moment, back-to-back weeks, hasn't he? So I'm sure he'll be buzzing about that. It's just...
It's disappointing, ain't it? But
it was just a shame the way it ended. But
did you do your classic, this will be a fight to watch curse again? Last week.
I said it was.
But I think he said it in a different way.
I think, that's what I said. I didn't want to. I'm just going to stop mentioning fights that are coming up, because
I wouldn't stop mentioning fights, because it wouldn't be much of a podcast. You just sit there.
There goes the preview show.
I'm just not going to pick my fight to watch.
Because it's cursed. Because in fairness, the atmosphere was great.
Oh yeah,
that ring walk by Paddy Donovan, mind. Zombie into Can't Stop by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, unbelievable.
All of it was great, and there's so much obviously passion and hatred and history and all of this there, and it was so great. But actually, Paddy Donovan kind of shut all that off, didn't he? Went with a pretty dominant performance from the start, and I did think that Crocker was going to be too big, too strong for him and impose himself, but he led with his head a little bit. He wasn't getting out the way of shots. He wasn't throwing anywhere near as enough. He was almost just happy to let Donovan tee off at him at points, and I just think
it weren't a great night for him.
Either get out the way or at least throw something back. Don't just stand there and wait until your eyes, buggered to kind of go out with a fight.
His eye was proper buggered though, wasn't it?
It was bad.
You've got no hope of it when you can't see punches coming. I don't know.
No, I mean, you lot remember when I had my eye? I struggled to walk around Lidl. It was like the most stressful experience ever. I couldn't see anything.
Yeah, and you haven't got no punches being thrown at you.
Yeah, as far as I was aware, no one was trying to punch me. I mean, I couldn't have told you if they were.
Just have people behind you.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, I'm not saying I know how he feels, because I'm far from it, but I can't even imagine getting close to a fight in that situation.
It's harder than a punch, the way. No. I mean, if that was me and I had that happen to me, I'd be saying, I've never felt anything like it before.
I wanted to play on. But no, I think what I'm trying to say is that I can't even imagine. You just can't see.
No,
it's just
and he was
all
both
gone.
eyes as well. He had a cut on the other eye, and his other eye was shut. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Craig Richards as well on that card.
This is
Your fight to watch, was it?
No, I was going to say I'm doing a weekly public apology to fighters as well.
Yes.
Callum Smith was last week. And Craig Richards is this week because I thought,
Well, there's your
to
next
be
fight.
fair to him, that's a brilliant win.
Yeah.
He looked back to his best, to be honest. So.
Eddie Hearn was advertising this fight as the loser goes home. So Patrick McCrory, is that it for him now? You know,
Possibly, yeah. I don't know.
he put
I don't know,
up a
but
decent performance.
I do
thought,
think
but
Craig Richards
a
showed
level above.
a level that,
Yeah.
that he once shown and hasn't shown since, and I think that's important. Like you say, Ben's weekly apologies that we're going to get out. I like that.
But there's
Yeah.
a fight now for Craig Richards to maybe inspire towards is that Callum Smith or even a Josh Watsy rematch.
Yeah, there's some good fights to be made there.
Richards would be good to
Yeah.
watch. Yeah.
A little boxer versus match in 5v5 that we possibly, hopefully, get to see. On to Craig Richards, one of Craig Richards' stablemates, Conor Benn. We've had that whole fight week now. We've kind of been able to sit and think about it for a bit.
Top work by Sam Hill as well, mine. Getting us some mega views on the
Yeah,
channel.
there's some content
Thank you,
out
Ben
there.
Shalom. We caught you off guard.
Interview with Adam Smith, interview with Ben Shalom, which is very funny. One of the funniest moments on the channel on there. So check it out. Watch the whole thing.
Bit personal.
Yeah, and yeah, just all of that is it's crazy, isn't it? I was saying to Ben at the start of the interview when we all saw that there was going to be 2 press conferences. I think we're all a bit kind of like, why? Like,
Yeah.
what? But it almost worked so perfectly that after the egg smash at the end of the first one, there were so many more questions than at the start of it, and the fact it was right at the end, so nothing more could be said or done to each other until that second press conference. It made it perfect, didn't it? It was so perfectly planned.
I still can't believe he smacked him with an egg.
It's
You know, I
mental.
didn't even check you boys today to see if you boys got an egg on you just in case walking out after filming this. But yeah, at first, watching it firstly, I thought, oh, he's just slapped him. Chris Eubank Jr. out of character slaps Conor Benn. I thought it would be the other way round. And then when you watch the replay, there's something flying away and you're like, oh, has he glassed him here? And then it was an egg.
Yeah.
Out of everything, the bloke sat there for half an hour with a load of eggs in his pocket.
That's unreal.
That's the thing that plays with me is he didn't have someone when he went off stage to pass him it. Oh no, he kept it all in his pockets because he's Chris Eubank. He doesn't tell anyone what he's doing.
And he even probably picked what outfit he was going to wear that day
Yeah.
based on its capacity
for eggs.
to hide eggs.
Yeah.
It's the level of shit housing that involves.
That's what he did
Goes
though
so
for
deep.
the 2 press conferences, weren't it? He was just trying to play with Conor Benn, and in a way now, I think that slap potentially could have won him the fight, you know. But Conor Benn's playing the card of, oh, I don't care. I'm going to still bash him up in 4 rounds. You know, so but you don't know how much that's going to affect on him now. You know, is he going to go into that fight now and just go, oh, bugger all this boxing skills I know, I'm going to take his head off, and that could easily play into the hands of Chris Eubank.
Possibly, yeah.
I think they've sold it brilliantly, haven't they? Not
Yeah.
just like I feel like.
Well,
them
look what
two
we're
were-
doing now.
Them 2 were on top form. Ben Shalom and Eddie Hearn were on top form. The only person you're missing is Eubank Senior.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
if he was involved, it would be
Box office.
must
yeah.
watch.
yeah,
And I
absolutely.
love that man. He's so funny to watch, and
But
I'd
then
love to see him here.
The fact that he's not there and you've got Conor Benn offering him ringside tickets and all of this, it's just so much better. All of it's
I'm just praying on fight week you just see him rock out with Eubank. You have both the fathers, both the sons.
yeah, just to get that one picture.
Surely
is all that
Turkey can
matters.
do something with that. Come on, Turkey.
I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure. In terms of the press conferences, how are we scoring them? If we're scoring them as a fight, 'cause
Well, 10-8 in Manchester, I think the Eubank.
I think I had it 10-7, 10-8. I
Really?
think you got a point, 10-9, point for the egg, and then
shutting down Eddie Hearn.
yeah, and then a point for shutting down Eddie Hearn, and then it's a 10-8. I would be thinking of pulling Conor Benn from the press conference at the end of that one.
I
on the
did like
scorecards.
Ben's reply when he said, "You've never been cleared of being a wanker." I thought that was quite.
See, I didn't think that hit. I don't know why. It didn't
No,
do it for me.
I felt like it did when I was watching it, but
I laughed at that, yeah.
It's just it's
it'd be
so
good to
He's
watch.
Marmite though, ain't he, Chris Eubank Jr.? You
I
either
think
love
they
him or you
both
hate
are,
him.
though, aren't they,
Yeah.
at the moment?
yeah. It's great because everyone either hates one of them
Yeah.
and the other person they kind of dislike slightly less. Like, I don't love Chris Eubank Jr. I find him very funny. I like how he carries himself. I just think he's quite funny. I don't particularly like Conor Benn because of the stuff that's gone on with him, and I dislike him slightly more than I dislike Chris Eubank Jr. So therefore, I want Eubank Jr. to win. But I don't love either of them particularly. I'm not going to be celebrating for him because I love him. It's just...
But you can't wait for the fight, though.
Unbelievably,
April 26th cannot come quick enough.
He's
now.
excited to watch it, though.
Yeah.
I stand by
What did you say beforehand, though? You went...
No, I said that if we never saw the fight, I wouldn't be disappointed it doesn't happen now. I'd be disappointed it didn't happen 3-4 years ago. And I stand by that now. I think it would have been... It as a boxing fight,
answer.
it was better a few years ago.
He's media trained, ain't he?
Yeah,
you can tell he was at the press conference on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get to the next one, so I don't want to say anything too silly. No, yeah, I just think, it's a great... It's more of a pantomime now.
Yeah.
It's more of a circus now, and there's more excitement around it now, but it's not a better boxing
There's
fight.
so many talking points. So Eddie Hearn and Ben Shalom betting 100 grand, and then Eddie Hearn goes $1 million, and Ben Shalom says no. You got Eubank paying 50 grand to all the fighters that were on the previous fight card that they had.
Yeah.
Do you boys believe that he will do that? Chris Eubank?
I think so, yeah. I think he
He
will.
could do, but I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make to each of those fighters.
Obviously.
Well,
And
Lyndon Arthur's already given him
Yeah,
his
and Ellie
bank
Scotney
detail.
as well, I
Yeah.
think. But, I mean, it's not going to make much of a dent in his fight purse either, I'm sure. It's just a kind of another little
That's
point
my
over.
problem as well. Is Chris... There's obviously this rivalry, but is Chris Eubank Jr. just doing it for the money? Just doing it for
They'd all do it for the
secure
money,
his
I'm sure.
future, which he's already had in his previous fights.
Yeah, but you could say the same for the other side, because I think the amount of
Yeah, but
time
Conor
and money...
Benn's hardly getting anything
No,
compared
but
to Chris
the amount of
Eubank.
time and money that Eddie's put into getting Conor Benn cleared and
Yeah.
getting all of that stuff sorted, you could argue, I'm not saying this is what I think, but you could argue that he's cashing in on Conor Benn because this is the money fight. There's no money fights out there for Conor Benn
Yeah.
other than this one. So you could argue both ways.
Who
They're
do you
both getting paid
think
well for it.
needs the win more?
Conor Benn.
I think it's equal. I think it's equal.
I think in the story part of it, the story aspect, Conor Benn needs to win. Otherwise, it's 2-0 Eubank.
But I think that neither of them need this for their boxing career. Neither of them is going to better their boxing career from this. And both of them are going to be not far off retirement probably after this. Maybe less so Ben, but I just don't think... So I just think it is this exists in its own realm outside of like the boxing rankings. That it's just kind of... It's just personal. There is no...
And it's the sort of fight that everyone's going to be talking about come fight week. From that egg slap, it was on the front pages of every single newspaper and the back pages. When have you ever seen that in boxing? This fight, like, as they said, could possibly stop traffic on Saturday, on April 26th. Everyone's going to be watching it. I'm sure my Bamps is going to message me and talk about it because he probably remembers the fathers doing it.
Yeah.
Same with my dad probably. And now we get to see the sons do it, finally. Hopefully we see it, hopefully there's no
Nothing,
eggs
yeah,
being
between now and
eaten.
then.
Yeah. Because I can't lie, since that drugs test came out, I actually stopped my intake of eggs just in case, I get the call up one day.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I actually increased my intake of eggs. I just eat them all the time now. So I think as well that Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I cannot...
How big was it? Is it
It's a big
huge?
stadium,
Yeah.
but I can't put into words just how nice it is.
Yeah.
It is beautiful.
How old is it now? Is it
Like 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
I think they did obviously... There's one other fight night they've done there, haven't there? There was
Usyk Joshua?
Yeah.
And I think they did Chisora Fury, if I remember.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, there might be. Yeah, but either way, they've done it before. But it's so nice. It's so good.
Leeds United fans, speaking in your mind.
It'd be a good night.
Yeah, they're just like the South version of Leeds, though, aren't they? Tottenham, just bottle jobs, playing white.
Yeah.
Lovely stadium, all that stuff.
said in all that, so
I'm not
fine.
ashamed of it. But yeah, it's just we can't help say it just is so good.
I think it's the biggest fight we're going to see in Britain this year, definitely.
If we don't get Fury AJ.
But I don't think we get a Fury AJ in the UK, so that'll be
No.
fine.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
they do it in. Well, do you think they do it in? So I think if they do it, there'll be one in Riyadh, one in the UK, most likely. But
Depends
which way
how it
round do they
goes
do
on.
it? Do you think?
Riyadh
I would
first.
Yeah.
Just in case that's the end of it, and then they don't get it. I suppose, yeah.
They're going to want a Riyadh season.
So
show,
Riyadh season
open or close in Riyadh season.
Yeah.
AJ Fury next March.
Yeah. When does Riyadh season?
I think it's
Shut down
October
there.
to March. I think technically.
Okay. Is it basically over now then?
Yeah, pretty much. This is such like a contrast to some of the Riyadh season stuff, though, isn't it? And I think this is what the magic of the Ring magazine is doing. Is it's so like you just can't believe it. You've got talk about Alcatraz, talk about they're doing it in the centre of Times Square.
About 200, 300 people are going to be watching it.
Yeah, literally. And then you've got this, which is just the most mental fight we've been waiting for so long.
Canelo Alvarez against Skull in May.
Yeah, but
that weekend in May is incredible. You've got the Times Square fight night on the Friday, Alvarez fighting on the Saturday, and then Inoue fighting on the Sunday in Vegas.
That is the best birthday weekend I could ask for. A Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Well. Happy 40th for then.
Can't wait.
I bought him a 50th. I need to go and get a refund on the card.
Yeah. I'll just save it for down the line. So that's unbelievable. We're looking forward to that one. Like I said, content on the channel, all that good stuff. So check all of that stuff out. And then to finish off, kind of a little bit more of, I suppose, feel-good story is you've got Ryan Garner winning the European title down in Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Great performance, confident performance over the 12 rounds. I think on the scorecards it was 120, 108 on all 12 rounds.
In a European title fight, that's impressive.
That's really good going. It's really, really good going. And just happy for him. It was a good card by all accounts.
Potentially now for him, next step.
Lewis Rayford.
Louis Edmondson as well on the card. St. Mary's.
Yes.
He can do it at St. Mary's,
Yeah, it would make sense to
fight there.
Do it at St Mary's.
Because he was in Bournemouth. How close Bournemouth and Southampton? They're quite close, aren't they?
Yeah, it's kind of the next most local. But
great performance by him. And Louis Edmondson didn't have the best of performances, but still got the job done against Tosin.
Yeah, he's done it back to back now with Dan Aziz and Tosin. Two Nigerian boys, actually, coincidentally. But I think that it's back to back that he's not necessarily impressed the most, but he's done more than enough to win it. And that's all you can ask for. He's defended his Commonwealth now, and I'm sure he'll probably defend it again against Ezra Taylor. And then if he gets through
that would be a hell of a fight, I think.
It will be a good fight. There's two good talkers. Yeah. I think Louis had a difficulty because they kind of invested so much time in that Whittaker fight, didn't they? That it doesn't really make sense, or that there's not as many. And then this is the kind of fight where again you get the best of Louis Edmondson in fight week and hopefully on fight night as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Ezra Taylor fight makes sense, and then you get the winner of them, the winner of Cameron Whittaker.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah. That would make sense. And then I suppose
that's mental that that's nearly coming up on us as well.
That's happening as well now.
There's just so many good cards and fights. Like this is a proper British weekend of fighting, wasn't there? Obviously you had the Tank Davis fight in the States as well, but just two good cards. Matchroom in Queensberry, one in Belfast, one in Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Good proper British boxing. What more can you want?
You've got it this weekend as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got
unbelievable.
Two more good cards, which we're obviously going to be previewing later in the week. So check all of those out. But we keep saying it, but let's just say it one more time. Sit back and enjoy what we're getting at the moment in boxing.
We don't know how long it's going to last, do we? So instead of criticising it, just enjoy it, I think.
Yeah.
But that's what our podcast is all about, We're meant to criticise it sometimes.
Yeah, we could do, but then they won't let us in.
That's what he's worried about now. He's backtracking and all this stuff.
No,
I really hope that Ben Shalom's seen that video.
Oh, of course he has.
I hope he has.
Yeah, of course he has.
Because you have to deal with Boxer on Friday night. You just walk in, puncture's chance, they put you to one side. Out. Yeah, get out, you out.
Well, I haven't done anything wrong. That's his prerogative. That's his problem.
Funny.
You just worded it. Yeah, you took his words.
Absolutely. So yeah, like we said, check out if you haven't already. Check out all the content on the channel. We spoke to the Croft twins this weekend and Anthony Croller as well about his stable of fighters. So lots of great stuff coming at the moment. Ben's gonna be down at the fight week next week, so stick around for the podcast, and then obviously the fight night as well with Lauren Price, Tasha Jonas, the full women's card. Thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you all later in the week.
But punches chance. Punches Chance Podcast.